Yo, what the duck is up, my my little group here? Yeah, what's up, guys? So showing off a list I played. This is Vanadium. This is not water. Unfortunate. Sorry. I am working on a Murma Atlantean deck, but that's kind of still in the woodworks. But yeah, so I'm playing a real deck today. I played this at locals. I got top 4. I went. It was 5 rounds. And round 1, I played against Snake Eye Fire King. I won that out. And then round 2, I played against Tempai, which we drew. But I had the game. Really, I was still like learning the deck again, and I was taking too long to play. And if I didn't take so long, I definitely would have had that. And then matched round 3, played against Sword Soul. That was pretty smooth. And then round 4, I played against Pure Snake Eye, and I won that out. And then I played against Tempai round 5, which I ended up losing. He actually smacked me. He's a good player. And so yeah, I played Vanadium, and yeah, I'm just gonna show what I played. And it's still a huge work in progress. It's my first time like bringing it back and playing it again, and it has a lot of work to be done. And there's still a lot of engines I want to play, and a lot of cards I'm not sure about. But yeah, we'll just get into it now. So for Visas, played 2 Starfrost and 2 Samsara. So I'm playing the Revolution Synchron engine, and so that was like kind of like the base of like how I wanted to build the deck around. And so really, you're always kind of playing 2 Starfrost because you want the follow-up, and having 2 Starfrost is good. And then Samsara. So with Revolution Synchron, you want to be having level 4 access with Revolution, and so we want to have Samsara as another level 4 to pair with Revolution. But he is the worst one to pair, just because he doesn't give you some type of follow-up after the Crystal Wing. You have to you can't really play. You can't play around Nib if you just open Samsara and Revolution. I do want to bump him up to 3 if I want to lower my non-engine count, because the best thing about Samsara is that you know, you're milling a decent amount. Like if you open tuning, you're milling 2 cards, and so like if you're able to mill Samsara, that feels really good. Plus Samsara is just a great extender, and he's still a really good level 4. So we want to play at least 2, but I like to bump him up to 3 if and I'll probably be trying that out. Next, 4 Vanadiums here. Play 3 Room Heart, 3 Meek, 1 Obsidian, 1 Imaginings, and 1 Reframing. So 3 Room Heart. Room Heart's the best level 4 in the deck, so we want to max it out. And then Meek's your best extender, which you pair with the Room Heart, and so we're maxing out as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then I'm just playing 1 of all the search targets because they're searchable. You don't need to play multiple copies. You're never really activating Obsidian more than once. And yeah, and Obsidian is really good. Obsidian is really good follow-up, and it's not bad to open either. But you definitely don't need to play multiples. And then Imagining super relevant in this deck because you're always trying to make level 4s tuners. So you can do you can go into XL with 2 level 4s, you know, basically that you're using it so you can make Excel with Room Heart, Right Heart, and then you play the 1 Reframing, so that way you have another Omni Negate you can get. And it pairs really well with Chening, because you know you have Chening on field, and you can Omni Negate something, and then you can banish this to put back in Vanadiums, which will then trigger the Chening. Yeah, so we played the 3 1-ups, and then for Scareclaws, play 2 Right Heart, 2 Arrival. I really want to bump this up to 3. It's another one where I was playing around with lowering Samsara and just focusing on Right Heart, maxing out the Right Heart. The only reason I'm not maxing out is because I play Reinforcement on the army, so it's another search target to get to Room Heart or Right Heart. So Reinforcement is basically the 3rd Right Heart. But yeah, Right Heart's another. He's the 2nd best card to pair with Revolution, because you can just go normal summon Right Heart, add Arrival, and then a Revolution, go into Crystal Wing, and then if you have nothing else in your hand, you can then eventually go Arrival, summon back the Scareclaw, and then go into Light Heart, add Starfrost, and then keep playing from there. It's not as good as Room Heart, but it still allows you to continue playing. And then you just play 2 Arrival because it's not once per turn, and you won't be able to search the 2nd one for follow up. Plus having the 2nd Right Heart is really good for follow up as well off of Brainphobia. Next we'll do field spells. Played 3 Clarium, 2 Rayphobia, and 1 Polar Rhino. You play 3 Calarium. I see some people playing around with like 2 copies of this. I don't know if I really agree with that, just because this is like the best starter in the deck if you don't open Room Heart. Plus it offers the most lines available. Plus it just acts as an extender with the Meek, because you can pop the Meek and then summon back the Meek and then also summon the Meek from deck. So Calarium just feels like the best heal spell. Also, you want to be opening field spells, so that way when you have like the Revolution combo, you can like activate a field spell, then go into like Ancient Fairy, pop the field spell, add another one. Typically, it's like another way to like it. Basically, like with Ancient Fairy Dragon, if you open a field spell, you can basically search your Polar Rhino off of the Ancient Fairy Dragon instead of having to do it through Armatara. So Armatara can add you like more impactful cards like Reframing, or Obsession or Imaginings. And then so then we play True Rayphobia because you want one for the follow-up. The follow-up, I would say, it's pretty important. Plus, opening 2 doesn't feel great, but you can always, opening 1 doesn't feel too great, but you can always put it back with Imaginings. Not to mention, a lot of the times they're interrupting you, and so having this as a follow-up is pretty nice. And you want Polar Rhino so that way you have a way to search Starfrost without having to use your good field spells. Next for the Synchron package, playing 2 Revolution and 3 Tuning. The only reason I'm not playing 3 Revolution is probably just because I don't have a third one. But also I think I like Tuning more than Revolution, just because of the fact that because it gives you the extra mill and just gives me more opportunities to be able to mill a card like Starfrost, Scareclaw, or Samsara, so that way if you open a rival, then you have another extender available. Not to mention, just opening those cards in your graveyard is pretty nice because it just gives you further access to like Astral Loud. But yeah, so basically the way this works is that Tuning is a not once return searching spell. You add a Synchron and then you mill a card, so you'll add Revolution, and then Revolution is pretty cool. He's level 3 tuner, and while he's in your hand, you can synchro. You can use him to synchro with a 4 on your field to make a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro, I believe. So like if you just like normal Room Heart, you can like normal Room Heart, add Meek, special Meek, and then you can synchro with your Revolution and Room Heart on field. And Revolution does not need to be on the field; it can be in your hand. And so you synchro it off, and then it goes to the graveyard, and then you mill a card, and you can summon it back to the field as a level 1 tuner. And you synchro that with the Ancient Fairy Dragon to make your level 8. And so you're making Crystal Wing, and that's how you play around Nib now. And yeah, so this engine felt really cool. It basically, I'm playing. If I did have 3 Revolution, I still wouldn't play 3, just because it gets a little clunky when you play like when you max out on like 6 copies, and 5 felt like the right ratio for like trying to open 1 copy of the card. And then not to mention you also have ways to draw it, so if you get to it late, that's still fine. It's still an extender later in the turn, because you can you'll eventually summon a level 4 back off Cross Sheep, or you'll just have level 4s lingering on the field that you can then eventually use with a Revolution. And yeah, so like this engine felt pretty good, and yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, so we'll go on to the next tier. Just for power spells, here we just have the 1 Reinforcement, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Call By. These are just bombs. This is more consistency. This is your 3rd Right Heart and 4th Room Heart, and then this is like another Calarium / whatever other field spell you need. And yeah, so I really like these, and the Droll wasn't very prevalent, so I never really felt any issues there. And then lastly, for non-engine, I played 3 Nib, 3 Ash, and 3 Imperm. I just felt like these were the best ones I want to max out on. I did debate like doing Valor over Nib, but I felt like Nib was probably more of a local call. I just know there's a lot of like Wombo combo decks at my locals, and so I just wanted to have Nib in there. Plus I wanted to feel Nib versus like Snake Eye, and I really liked it. Yeah, this hand trap lineup was great. Ash and Imperm are super impactful. Nib's great too, and yeah, so this felt really good. Yeah, so it's a 40 card main here, and then into the extra deck. The extra deck's honestly the hardest part of the deck, just because like you want like 20 slots in the extra deck, and just like trying to fit everything, because there's so many synchros that just bridge into the actual synchros you want to play, and that's been a struggle trying to figure out what's needed. So getting into links. Played 1 Little Knight, 1 Cross Sheep, and 2 Lighthearts. You played 2 Lighthearts so that way you had the follow-up Lightheart, and my multiple times my Lightheart would get interrupted, and then I would root from field, and then I would link it off again, so that I can search the field spell. And so the second one definitely felt relevant. Cross Sheep for the combo, Little Knight for the spot removal. And yeah, that was it for the links. And then the level 10 synchros, I played Chenyi, Gamir, and Dispatter. These felt like the best three. Also, I don't have Chaos Angel, so I wasn't able to test that out. Maybe I would go with Chaos Angel. It just seems a little weird because it doesn't actually do anything on board. But yeah, you play Dispatter because just like it's so free in the deck. It acts as an extender and a negate. You play Chenyi because it's like the best synchro. You can go into like going second because you can pair with Astrolabe and just like clear a whole board, and it allows you to like go for game. And then Gamir as like the flex 10. This card is definitely like a utility slot and this could be replaced in another slot. I did like it. It did come up once or twice where you make it with like Meek and Astrolabe, and it just, it's just another body that they have to deal with, and it's reoccurable, and that was kind of nice, but it's definitely not needed. The Gamir, I'm gonna show some other cards I was like debating playing, and Gamir could be swapped out for any of those. Next for our 8s, we played Crystal Wing, Excel, Omega, and Arbitrara. So yeah, Crystal Wing for the negate versus Nib, Excel to bridge up into other cards. And then we played Omega. Omega was like another way of like basically putting them on like, do they have Nib or not? Also as a way, like if you make this like before, if you're 5th summon, you can maybe snipe the Nib early or snipe other hand traps, force hand traps, which I was able to do a couple times. I was able to like force an imperm, and that feels really good because you force an imperm on the Omega, and then you just wait for their turn, and now you can activate it again, and that felt great. Also, like even when I had my Omega like removed from field a couple of times, like I had like my Omega dropleted, and then they eventually put it in graveyard, and that was like just fine because then you can just like use Omega's effect during your turn or whenever to put Omega and then any card in your graveyard back into your deck, and so being able to like put Astrolabes back in the extra deck that way was pretty cool too. And yeah, and then if you do have the option to go for like Dispatter Omega, then you'll definitely do that and go for like the two cards in their hand. And then you play Arbitrara just because it searches everything and it makes your deck like a 1-card combo deck. Next we play 1 level 7, play the Ancient Fairy Dragon for the Revolution Synchron, and then for the 6 you just play Trasuchta to bridge up into your other cards, and then just lastly you play 2 Astrolabes. I don't think 3 Astrolabes ever came up. It almost came up one time. It's so weird. Like I really want to like play 3 Astrolabes, but I just don't think it's correct. I just don't think there's ever a time where you really need the 3rd one. It only almost comes up, but the game never goes long enough to where the 3rd one would have come up anyways. And you have ways to recycle it, so it's fine. It's fine too. And so just other cards I was considering like Scarlight, just because it's really nice at like clearing the whole entire board, and like eventually especially versus like Snake Eyes, they'll after like they use their Flame Birds to summon back two bodies, and they have like Princess on field because they've interrupted you, and they have other cards too. You can then go Scarlight, destroy their whole field, and then go into Chenyi, and then you'll usually burn them for enough, and then this in Chenyi will like, or like this in Astrolabe will like hit them for game. And it's this card that did not make the cut this time, but I think this is definitely another card I'll be thinking about swapping out for like the Gamir. Another was Apollousa. I never missed the Apollousa just because the way I was playing the deck out, all the bodies never really came up, and you kind of want to go into Little Knight anyways in your end board, so you can banish your Astrolabe so you can put it back in your extra deck. But Apollousa is definitely another card to consider. Hope Harbinger is another card to consider just because there are times where you can like, depending on how you want to like play the deck out, you can leave Arbitrara on board, or you can go like double Astrolabe, and then you can go into like Hope that way to negate spells. And it's also really nice like pair with an Apollousa, because then they can't just attack into the Apollousa, they have to attack into the Harbinger. And then another card I considered was like Stardust, because you can because this basically gives like nib protection. You can like make Excel summon back Meek, and then you can just like leave it on field, and then whenever they decide to try and nib you, you can then chain the Excel, tribute it off, summon Stardust, synchro with the Meek, and then you can summon a Dispatter that's unaffected by the nib. So that's another way to play around nib. And then Crimson was another card that just didn't make the cut. It's a card I really do want to play. It's a really good bridge, and it also has other applications where you can target. You could target Crystal Wing with this too, and then summon Excel from your extra deck, and then Excel can summon Meek, and then do the things. So it definitely has like viability in the deck, and I just did another card that just couldn't make the cut because the extra deck is so tight. And really there's not many flex spots here. Like I would say the main flex spots are like Omega and like Gamir, I feel like are like really the only 2 flex spots. Maybe even like like the second Lightheart. Like these are probably like the flex spots you can like play with, because Omega is basically just another form of trying to like play around Nib. And so like if you would swap the Omega out, it would probably need to be with like Stardust, or like Apollousa maybe, is like the cards I consider to replace that with. And then Gamir I would be looking at like replacing with like really like anything. And then Lightheart's another weird one where I don't know what I would want to do with second Lightheart, if I want to cut it or not. And then onto the side deck. The side deck obviously is always in the works, and this is focused. This was kind of just like theory crafting. I picked up the 2 extra thrusts, and so I really wanted to play around with this card now that I had 3 copies of it. And so I played 3 thrusts, and then for thrust targets I played 2 Dark Rulers, 1 Tactics, 1 Lightning, 1 Heartbeat, and 1 Evenly. I just wanted multiple 1-up targets. I felt like I put more priority on Dark Ruler over other cards, because like Dark Ruler handles like the Melodious deck. It can handle like big boards, like combo decks. It can handle like Voiceless Voice. And so I tried that out, and then yeah, just one of for like the board wipes. I want to play one of each of them, and then just Talents is a one of. You can put it in going first as well. So it's just another good card to play through hand traps, and then also just a good card going second, because it pairs well with the thrust, so you don't need to play multiple copies. And yeah, this side deck felt pretty good. I think all the cards I didn't resolve all like the board wipes. I never resolved the board wipes, but I did use the thrust and the Dark Rulers. And so but in theory you need to have something for like board wiping and like back row, and so that's what like the Lightning Storm, Heartbeat, and like Evenly are for. And then for like going first cards, you play 3 D-Barrier, and I played 3 Judgments. Basically just another Omni Negate, and it's really strong versus all the decks, and so just as like an easy side in every time I went first. And then for like Tempai, Melodious, Branded, you have D-Barrier in there, and D-Barrier did go off versus Tempai. It was not enough, but I ended up not having Revolution, and I got Nib for my whole board, and I had this to basically skip his turn, but I didn't have enough to follow up with. But yeah, so that's basically the deck, and yeah, I got really nothing else for you. I wasn't able to record the feature matches, but I plan to record next weekend, and I'm probably going to be playing this at YCS Indy. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and all right, peace out.